the session in the next 15 minutes. Ritika, can you please confirm whether you are able to hear my voice?
Yes, I can hear you.
And my voice is clear?
Yeah, it's all clear.
All right, great. Thank you. Okay, great. So one more minute to go and then we can start the session. In the meantime, guys, if you have any query, you can see there's a chat window. You can write your questions here, and I would love to reply that. So we can start the session. Once again, welcome everyone. My name is Raj and I'm your host for today's session. We have our PMP trainer, Mr. Sanjeev, with us today, who will discuss the earn value management topic with you. So my purpose of today's introduction is just to help you understand how you can use this software for your queries and questions. So I'm just writing one note on the chat window. You can just see there's a chat link in your GoToWebinar software. I've written, please feel free to write your queries. I hope you all are able to see my chat here. So guys, in case you have any queries, you are free to ask your questions. There is one more raise hand button there. You can see in your just above chat window, there is a arrow where you can click on raise hand, and then you can ask your questions. So I'm handing over the access to our trainer, Mr. Sanjeev. Sanjeev, are you able to hear my voice?
Yes, I can.
All right, great. So Sanjeev, I'm making the presenter. Please take the access and then start the session.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Today we'll be talking about a very interesting topic in the branch of project management. It is called earned value management. In today's topic, I would give you the basic idea what earned value management is all about and how can we use this particular, technique in our respective, project. I believe everybody can see my screen. In case some of you are not able to see the screen, you can write the same in the chat window. Okay. Now, the first slide, as you can see, it actually talks about three scenarios. Like in the first one, it says, yet it worked last time, so it will work this time also. The way we execute, the way we plan the project, not every time we do the objective analysis of the situation. We actually work on a gut feel. We just feel that the last two projects, those two projects were executed successfully, so it will happen the same way, a similar manner. The second thing is, like, do we predict the success or failure based on our gut feel? That basically talks the same thing. But while we are actually working on a funky project, probably the customer is the first customer we are working for, and based on the success or failure of the project, we will get some more work from the same client. So net what I am trying to say that there has to be some mechanism wherein we can objectively look at the project, and there are the various parameter, and at an appropriate milestone, it could be at the end of the requirement phase, it could be at the end of design or testing or deployment, we can look back and see how we actually perform. And in case if there are some positive variances, in case if there are some negative variances, we can take preventive or the corrective measures. So in the branch of project management, one important area that based on the current situation, based on the past situation, we have to take certain decisions so that we end up the project, we are able to close the project, and we earn money. That's basically the objective of any project. The profitability should be there. It could be 20%, it could be 30%, it could be 10%. Now, if you look at the scope, if you look at the time and cost, quality, human resources, risk, there are various the multiple mechanisms through which we can monitor the performance. Like if you look at the scope, I can have a mechanism, I can have a number, number of work packages versus actual number of work packages delivered versus the plan. I assume that everybody is aware about the work packages. Work packages is the lowest level of work breakdown structure, which basically talks about the number of activities which are required to be done in order to produce that delivered. So at an appropriate milestone, appropriate interval, we can look back and see that, okay, we plan to deliver X number of work packages. It could be X number of activity, and the plan is it could be something else. In case if there are differences, in case the number of activities or the number of work packages supposing 10, that was the plan, but actually we were able to deliver maybe only 8. At that point of time, we need to do some kind of a post-mortem and then look back, what was actually the reason and why we got that difference. When you look at the time and cost, here I can have actual person completed, and we compare that what was actually the plan, and we have expected person complete to earned value management. What is earned value management? We would be looking at the same in subsequent slides. When we talk about the quality, in quality, we can have two different areas. We can do the quantitative analysis and we can do the qualitative analysis, asking the customer, how comfortable do you feel that what we are developing and delivering to you is meeting your needs. And the most, the common number when we talk about the quality is the number of defects, the number of defects of having a different severity. It could be the pre-implementation, it could be the post-implementation. The most common type of choices which we use in any project is the resource utilization. I have seen many projects where the data you capture, it only talks about the resource utilization. We don't capture any other kind of data. As all of you, I assume that all of you understand what exactly I mean by resource utilization. What we basically see, if the people who are part of the project, are they 100% utilized? So we come across a number, probably out of 10 resources, 5 resources are 90% utilized or 80% utilized. There are a few people who are more than 100% utilized, and based on we look at that why people are not 100% utilized or why people are utilized more than 120% or 130%. Okay. Risk is an important, very important area in any project, and in risk also we have two different kind of measures. We have the quantitative risk analysis and we have the qualitative risk analysis. And another important area in risk, it's basically called as the probability and the impact. The probability we actually means the likelihood of occurrence of a risk, and the impact. If the risk happens, what would be the impact on the project in terms of the dollars or rupee. Okay. Now I would be talking about earned value management. What is the objective of earned value management, and how do we capture the different kinds of data? Now, as the slide says, relate time phase budget to specific contract task or the statement of work. Just imagine imagine, a scenario where the total contract value is say $20,000, and in that particular project we have various phases. You have requirement, you have design, you have test, you have deployment, you have the production support. And another thing is that the project demand is actually not $20,000 right in the beginning. So as the projects go on, we basically ask for money. So for requirement, probably we need $5,000. Probably in the head of design, we need another $10,000. So it relates the time phase budget to the specific contract task or statement of work. So at an appropriate time, we ask for the money, and while we get the money, we deploy the resources. And when I say resources, it could mean the human resources, or it could be the infrastructure or any other thing. Unvalue management, it actually provides the basis to capture actual progress assessment against the baseline plan. Whatever data we capture in unvalue management, most of the time it is actually the plan versus actual. So sometimes the result of plan versus actual, sometimes it is positive, sometimes it is negative, and sometimes it is right on the dot, which seldom happens. Most of the time you will have some differences. It could be the positive difference, it could be the negative difference. How do we avoid the negative difference, or how we execute, how we plan the work, so that we have the positive difference and we are able to save some money, and we have a situation, we have a scenario where the customer is also happy about our work. One very, very important area in unvalue management, I assume that everybody is aware about the triple constraint in the branch of project management. It is called scope, schedule, and the cost performance. Now, these three important parameters actually control the project. Okay, if there is a change in the scope, it may have an impact on the schedule. It may have an impact on the cost factor. Cost may increase, or it may decrease. Why I am saying decrease? Supposing as part of the scope we have to work on maybe 10 different things. Now the customer is saying, okay, I do not want 10 different things. Maybe I'm only interested in eight, different things. So in that case, the cost will go down and the schedule will also go down. So instead of delivering the goods to the customer, say by 10th of October, now since the scope has gone down, we will be able to deliver the goods maybe before 10th of October. Okay, so at any given point of the time, we would be looking at the scope, we would be looking at the schedule, we would be looking at how we are actually performing the cost. And this is actually the beauty of the unvalue management. As I said, that most of the times, the project manager or the program manager, they are actually looking at the resource utilization only. And when you are looking at the resource utilization, and sometimes we also call it as resource burnout ratio, how the people are utilized in a particular project. So when I talk about the resource utilization, we are actually not talking about any scope. We are not talking about any schedule. Maybe we are talking about cost a bit. So resources are not the only cost in the project. You may have a project where you are deploying some infrastructure, probably some hardware. In that case, you have the people and you have the machinery. So unvalue management, it is actually the combination of these three important parameters. And while we are calculating any particular data, we relate all these three parameters. How do we do that? That we will see shortly. Now, based on the result, which we basically get out from different kind of calculation, considering scope, schedule, and cost, we take, the decisions, okay? And also another important area, we can forecast like the future also. So based on the current situation, whether what kind of a forecast we would have, the future is looking bright or the future is looking cloudy. In case the future is looking cloudy, is there any mechanism wherein I can take some preventive action at this point in time, and we are actually able to get the things in our favor. So the two important area in earned value management is preventive action and the corrective action. So while we are looking back, we are doing some corrective action at that point in time in case the performance as on date is actually not good. Based on the current situation, which is actually not good, we forecast, and we, based on that forecast, if the forecast is not good, we take some preventive measures in order to avoid, those problems. Okay. There are few basic terms in the earned value management. We have budgeted cost for work schedule, which is also called BCWS, or it is also called planned value. We have budgeted cost for work performed, which is also called as BCWT or earned value. And we have actual cost of work performed, which is also called ACWT or AC. And we also have a term called budget at completion, BAC. Then we have EAC, which is comprised of the cumulative of date, actual cost of work performed, plus the estimate to complete the remaining work. Before proceeding further, let me just clarify one thing here. You are basically saying two different kind of terms. Like if you look at the first slide, it is budgeted cost for work schedule and or BCWS, or it is also called as planned value. What you see on the left hand side is basically PMI, or let me say PMP examination. They have stopped using BCWS, BCWP, ACWP. They have stopped using this term. They use planned value, earned value, BAC, actual cost, EAC, cost variance, schedule variance, or variance at completion. They have stopped using that. So in case if some of you are planning to appear in PhD examination, you need to know only PV, EV, BAC. I mean, there are a lot of other terms. You are actually required to know these two, terms. But having said that, to be on a safer side, you should be comfortable on the old terminology also. Okay, now we will look at all these terms, and I will present a case study wherein you would be able to see how we compute this the various type of different kind of data. As I can see, somebody is okay. So I'm just going through the messages in chat window. Okay. Okay. One guy called Dilip. He's asking, how is EVM applied in agile project management? I conduct a lot of sessions on agile also, and one misconception which usually the people have, that when we talk about the agile, we are just talking about the user story, we are talking about the iteration, we are talking about the release planning, and every time I conduct the sessions on agile, the simple answer is no. In agile, or let me say in ACP, which is another certification offered by PMI, it only talks about those things which are new in agile. It does not talk about other things. So on top of the curriculum of agile or ACP, we have to use we have to do a lot of other things. And earned value management is, part of those things. So on top of what you study in Agile, you also use earned value management, because without earned value management, the whole objective, would be defeated. Okay. So Dilip, did I answer your question? You can type in the chat window. Okay, so earned value management is like is one of those area, and Agile, nowhere it talks about the work breakdown structure, which is an important, very very important artifact in any project. Now, when I say project, I don't just mean the IT project. I mean, it could be a civil project, it could be a manufacturing, it could be a pharma. But when you go through the Agile documentation, nowhere it talks about WBS. And without having WBS, you can't plan a project, because without having the information on the deliverables, how do you plan? How you would know that what would be the end result of the project. So once again, Dilip, I'm asking you, did I answer your question? Yes, Dilip, tell me now. There are a lot of background noise, Dilip. Dilip, are you there? Dilip, are you there? Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Have you unmute? So you can hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're basically saying that in agile project management, since there is no concept of work breakdown structure and stuff like that, so it's hard to apply EVM in agile project management, right?
It is not hard to apply. I mean, I just tell you one thing. In the absence of work breakdown structure, can you plan the project? You
Yeah,
cannot.
we cannot come up with a wholesome project plan, and agile also does not advocate that, right? Like, they talk about sprints and increments. So.
Yeah, and having said that, in the absence of the deliverables, in the absence of the work breakdown structure, how can you plan out the activities which are required to be done in order to produce that deliverable? So there are many things which are there in the traditional project management, and those things are relevant in Agile also. That's what I basically wanted to say.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So, as I said, that all these terms, I would be presenting a case study, and you would be able to understand the meaning of all these, terms. Okay. Now, this particular slide, I am not going to discuss it right now, because you won't be able to understand unless I show you a case study. Just, the background of earned value management, or EVM, the concept of earned value management, it became a fundamental approach to program management in 1966, when the United States Air Force mandated earned value management in conjunction with the other planning and controlling requirement on Air Force program. And at that point in time, it was actually not called as earned value management. It was called as cost schedule planning control specification, or CSPCS. Okay, now I would be explaining you the various terminology which we use in earned value management. Just imagine a situation wherein you are approaching an architect, and you are asking him to build a house for you, and that house, it has 4 floors, and there are milestones that at the end of first month, first floor would be ready, second month, second, third month, third, and the fourth month, the fourth month. And by at the end of fourth month, the entire house would be ready, and the people they can check in, they can move in. Now the entire house would be costing 40,000 US dollars. So the cost of first floor would be $10,000, and second one is 10, 10, 10. That comes to $40,000. As I said, that earned value management, we don't use earned value management only at the end of the project. It is basically the periodic assessment. If I do it only at the end, the damage is already done. Because if I'm only doing it only at the end, and there was some problem at the middle of the project, but I didn't do any assessment, the damage is already done. You can't look back. There is no other way to salvage that damage. And that is where this EVM comes into picture, so that we can do the periodic assessment. Now, while the work was, under progress, so at the end of second month, I go to the site and I meet the architect and I ask him, "Are you done with the work?" And he says, "Yes, I am done with 2 floors." So at that point in time, the planned value was $20,000. So there are in earned value management, we always talk in terms of rupee. We always talk in terms of dollar. We always talk in terms of yen. Okay. So by first month, 10,000 worth of work, should be ready. By second month, 20,000 worth of work should be ready. 30,000 worth of work, $40,000 worth of work should be ready by fourth month. So if I am going to the site at the end of second month, then I expect that 20,000 worth of work should be ready. That is what is called as the planned value. Now, planned value is different from the budget. If you sum up all the planned value, you will get the budget. So 10, 10, 10, 10, it becomes 40,000. So 40,000 is the budget, but at the end of second month, the planned value is 20,000 only. At the end of third month, the planned value is 30,000 rupees. Now this clarification is very, very important. If you are not able to understand, then the subsequent slides, whatever I talk, would be absolutely useless. Okay. Then you have the earned value, which is budgeted cost for work performed, BCWP or earned value. We also say EV. Okay. So just one second. Just let me have some water. So when I say a plan, that was actually the plan, and when I say earn basically means the things which are already done. So when the architect tells me that at the end of second month, the plan was to do 20,000 worth of work, and actually we are able to do 20,000 worth of work. That means we are right on schedule. But it may also happen that the plan was 20, but he was able to do only 10,000 worth of work, or he was able to do maybe 30,000 worth of work. So as long as your EV, if it is greater than PV at that point in time, we are in a good situation. Okay. The moment EV, if it goes below planned value, then we are actually in a bad situation. Okay. In that case, I have to ask the architect to speed up the work. Probably he would deploy more resources, or in case if there are some other problem, he will try to rectify those problems. So the planned value, and you have the earned value. Then you have the third important parameter, which is called as the cost. Now the architect, he says that at the end of second month, I am done with 20,000 worth of work, and the plan was 20,000 worth of work. But in order to complete that 20,000 worth of work, I had to spend 5,000 rupees, I had to spend 25,000 rupees, or I had to spend 30,000, 30,000, rupees. So actual cost is also, is a very, very important parameter. In case if he is spending more money, he is basically in a loss. He's spending, the less money he's making, the profit. So you have the earned value, you have the planned value. It is quite possible that you are able to do the things well planned. Probably you are ahead of schedule. I mean, the plan was 10, you are able to do 20, but at what cost? You are basically spending more money. So actual cost is also a very, very important parameter. Okay. Then you have the budget at completion. Remember one thing, that 40,000 rupees, that is the budget. Whether you are doing more or you are doing less, whether the actual cost is, say, 30,000 rupees or 40,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees, the budget at completion would still be 40,000 rupees. So what exactly I am trying to say, that DSE is actually the actual budget of that engagement. This will never change. Let me put it in other words. The summation of planned value, it will always give me the budget only. So the baseline, the plan is always first month would be 10, then 20, then 30, then 40. These are the plans. Plan never changes. The plan never changes, so as the budget. As long as the customer is not asking for more. So instead of maybe 4 floors, he's saying, okay, now I need 5 floors, or maybe I need 3 floors. In that case, the budget will change. Otherwise, your budget will remain the same. This is called as, the baseline budget, because against this budget only, against that plan only, we would be comparing the actual progress. Okay. There is another parameter which is called as estimated completion. Now, estimated completion, which is comprised of the cumulative to date actual cost of work performed plus the estimate to complete the remaining work. Now, I'll come back to the same scenario where I said that I'm going to an architect, okay, and he has to build a house having 4 floors. Now, just imagine that at the end of second month, he was able to complete, say, at the end of third month, he was able to construct only first floor, okay, and that too spending more money. That means this entire engagement, this entire plan, there is no way that he would be able to do in 40,000 rupees. So when I say at a periodic interval in any project, when I am in the middle of a project and I have been given a budget of, say, $50,000, I am in the middle of the project. And when I look at the budget, when I look at the total spending could be infrastructure, it could be the real estate, it could be the resources, it could be, the human electricity, and so on and so forth. And I see that we are already done with 70,000 US dollar. That means I am left with only $30,000 with me, and still I have to do 50% of the work. So one thing is pretty clear, and that is that we are not in a situation to complete that work in remaining $30,000, and that is what is basically called as EAC. We would be needing maybe $30,000 more from the client, or maybe we would be paying that money from our own pocket. We would be compromising on the profitability of that engagement. Just listen to me very, very carefully. As long as things are planned, as long as there is no difference between earned value and the planned value, DAC and EAC would remain the same. Once again, I am repeating, as long as we are right on the schedule, we are right on the cost, we are right on the scope, my budgeted completion and my estimated completion would remain the same. Otherwise, there would be a difference. Anybody has any question on this explanation? Please let me know right away. Otherwise, the remaining discussion would be absolutely useless. Anybody has any question on this explanation? So I'm unmuting. I'm unmuting everybody. So if you have any question, just let me know. Let me know right away. Otherwise, I will proceed. Yes, Subodh, do you have any question? Umesh, Sridevi, Rajesh?
Yeah, good, Sanjeev.
Okay. So shall I assume the same thing from everybody? Let me see. Somebody is typing something in the chat window. Okay. 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 So I will proceed further. So once again, I'm repeating, as long as you are right on the schedule, cost, and scope, the budget would be, your EAC would be similar to your budget. Let me put it in other words. 40,000 is what we had planned, and at the end of second month, we were able to complete 20,000 worth of work, and we are still left with 20,000, and that was the plan. At the end of third month, our budget was is still 40,000, and out of those 40,000, the plan was 30,000 at the end of third month. Okay, now at the end of fourth month, the budget was still 40,000, and we ended up spending $10,000 at the end of fourth month. So the EAC and the BAC would be same, for this entire engagement. Okay. Now, this there is some test written out here: cost variance, schedule variance, various variances at completion. This again I'm leaving, because once I would be presenting the case study, then only you would be able to understand what I am basically talking. Okay. Now, this is an important, very important slide, and as you can see, there are 4 graphs. As you can see in the first graph, there is a blue line, and the blue line is actually for the planned value, and then there is a red line which depicts the actual cost. So if you look at the planned value, it is starting from 0, then it is maybe 35,000, then it is 50,000, then it becomes probably 60,000, and 1,50,000. At the end, it has planned value is, we are done with the project. While you are looking at the actual cost, which is actually denotes, which is actually denoted by red line. If you look at that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 4, you can see this red line is above the blue line. That means we are spending more money. The moment it goes below the blue line, that means in order to perform the planned work, we are spending less money. This is actually called as S-curve. The very, very important and very, very popular in the branch of earned value management. Okay. If you look at the 4th graph, wherein you can see the planned value, you see the earned value, you see the actual cost. So S-curve is not a single curve. It is actually a combination of 3 different kind of a curve. So EV is green, blue is PV, and the red is AC. So while you see the earned value while you are comparing the earned value with the blue line, that is the planned value, you can see that initially we are able to do more. The plan was probably, it was in the beginning it was, I think, some $10,000, but if you look at the EV, we are basically able to perform more work. And if you look at the actual cost, we are able to do more, but at what cost? We are spending more money. In order to complete that piece of work, we have to spend more money. So this is the important a pictorial description of different kind of data in earned value management. I'm not sure how many of you are comfortable with the Microsoft project. Just give me 1 second. Microsoft project is a scheduling tool, and it is actually used to draft the project plan or the schedule plan. All this data is actually generated out of that tool. You don't have to manually do anything. So in the Microsoft project, which is a Microsoft software, there you capture all the activities, you capture all the work packages, you assign all the resources against each activity, all the work packages, and their rates also. And whenever you want, you can generate different kind of data along with this pictorial description, which is called as SCAR. Okay. Let's look at one example, not this one. I'll show you. Okay, let's see this. Okay, so the slides, which I'm leaving, leaving it, for a purpose, because I want to first demonstrate, the basic terms in earned value management. Then only you will be able to appreciate those. So as you can see, the S curve, which is actually the combination of 3 curves, and there are different kind of S curve. You have man hours versus time, cost versus time, baseline S curve, actual S curve, target S curve, value and percentage S curve. All these different kind of S curve are beyond the scope of this session. Okay. Just for your knowledge, I just thought of capturing this information in the slide. Okay. While you are looking at the on the right hand side, S curve is actually, it is a pictorial description, a display of cumulative cost. So when I say cumulative cost, I'll again go back to the same example of that house having 4 floors. So the first month it is 10, second month it is 20, 30, 40. It is never like this 10, 10, 10, 10. There's always the cumulative cost. It also shows the labor hours, other quantities plotted against time. Why the name is given S? Because it looks like S. And I would like to ask this: why this curve is flatter at the beginning and steeper? Why it is flatter at the beginning and end, and why is steeper in the middle, which is the typical of most projects? Can anyone tell me why it is flatter in the beginning and end? You can type your answer in the chat window. Okay, first of all, let me see this. Okay. Okay, Adam is asking a question. In a lump sum contract, ED is always the same as AC. It should be same. It should be same, but seldom it happens. As I said, that you are right on the cost. It seldom happens. Always there would be some differences, and always there are some threshold values. All the organizations, they have some different kind of a threshold. Some acceptable differences. Okay. Okay, and also in reality, how do I measure cost variance when the AC is always a few weeks lag. So first of all, AC actual cost we are talking like in rupees or dollars. I mean, really not able to understand what do you actually mean by few weeks lag. So Adam, can you explain me what exactly you mean by this statement? Okay, so both is saying most of the work happen in middle. Absolutely right, because initial phase of the project and at the end of the project you have less number of work, you have less number of people because most of the people they are actually working right, somewhere in the middle of the project while the construction, the coding, and the design and the testing, work is in progress. Okay. And Subodh is saying beginning planning and closure, not so much. Absolutely right. Okay, Subodh, that is why Esther, you are absolutely right. Uh, that's why, yeah, you are absolutely right, Subodh. And Alan is saying actual cost is the invoice value. Okay, let me see your original question. Let me say that AC is actually not the invoice value. Let me call it the BAC is actually your total contract value. The total contract value is your BAC. Just wait for a few minutes. I will be demonstrating this thing, with the help of a case study, Adam. Just wait for a few minutes. So we understand why it is flatter at the beginning and end, and why steeper in the middle. The beginning represents a slow, deliberate but accelerating start, while the end represent deceleration as the work runs out. Okay. Now this is that case study, and with the help of this case study, you would be able to understand what actually we are talking about. Now there are 4 activities A, B, C, D, and at the end of day 3, we want to do some analysis. So if you look at the activity A on day 1, as it actually stands for start, F is finish. On the day 1, activity A, it was started and it was done on day 1. So if you look at the last column, status end of day 3, complete and spent $1,000. Remember one thing, the last column, it is talking about the status on day number 3, not day number 4. Activity B, it actually started on day 2, okay, and this activity was finished, earlier, though the planned finish was probably much ahead, within day 2 only. This activity was also done, and here, the money which was spent on $900. So if you look at the activity B, just assume that activity B on day 2, assuming that a resource would work for 8 hours, that guy ended up completing the work, say, in 4 hours or maybe in 5 hours. That means we were able to complete that work maybe in less amount of money. So we should have spent $1,000, but since the guy completed the work earlier, so we ended up spending $900. If you look at activity number C, you see on day 2, it actually started, but it was supposed to start on day 3, and it was supposed to finish on day 3 itself. So when you're looking at the last column, it was 50% done because it was never finished, and we ended up spending $1,000. So you can see we spent more money, and activity was still not 100% done. While you look at activity D, it was supposed to start on day 3, Okay, but the plan was to start on day 4 and complete this activity on day 4. 75% done, and we ended up spending $300. Here we saved some money. Now, on the basis of this information, we have to calculate time value, earned value, actual cost, budget at completion, schedule variance, schedule performance index, estimate at completion, estimate to complete, variance at completion, cost variance, and CPI. Okay, so whatever we have discussed, you will be able to see now. Now, while you look at the planned value, now I'll be, shuffling between both slides. It says planned value at the end of day 3. It was 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000. Okay, let's go back to the previous slide. Okay, so at the end of day 3, the plan was, there were you have, the three days. So the plan was to complete 3 activities having, the worth $3,000. Okay, so it says we should have done 3,000 worth of work. Anybody has any question on this? Okay. Is it possible that EV can go beyond PV at any point during the entire project life cycle? If yes, then why? Rajesh, it is okay. Now, at the end of the project, EV cannot be more than PV. If it is more than PV, then you are doing something which is not part of the project. If the EV is more than PV, you are doing something which is not part of the project. The plan was to do $10 worth of work. You ended up doing $20 worth of work. How it is possible? That means $10 worth of work, it was never the plan. Probably you are delighting, the customer. Probably you have still some more money left in your bucket. So this, like practically, I mean, it is not possible, Rajesh. Did I answer your question, Rajesh? Just type in the chat window. Okay, so as you can see, when I am calculating the planned value, we are saying 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 1,000. Remember one thing in the last slide, I said that planned value is not the budget. In fact, the summation of all the planned value is the budget. Summation of all the planned value should be equal to the budget. Okay? When you look at the second column, it is 3,000 worth of work. We should have done 3,000 worth of work. That is my planned value. That is what we thought. That is what we baseline. While you look at the earned value, okay, now I go back to the slide. It is complete, half done, 75% done. Okay, it is complete, 50% done. It is complete, half done. That is your 50% done, and your 75% done. Okay. So, or in other words, we can say 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 500, because the third one was half done, and then we say 750. That comes to 3,250. Okay, we have actually completed 3,250 worth of work. Is that clear? Okay. Somebody has pushed. Let me see that. Yes, Adam. Tell me. Adam, unmute yourself. Or you can type your query in the chat window. Let me see. No question. Yes, it is clear. Okay. Can anyone tell me, when I say planned value, I'm saying 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. Okay. But when I'm looking at the earned value, it is taking all the four activities: complete, 50% done, 70%, 75% done, complete, half done, 75% done. Can anyone tell me why in the first case the planned value I was talking about 3 activities, and how come in earned value I am talking about all the 4 activities? Yes. Anybody from the audience? Yes, friends, tell me why in PV I am taking 3 activities, but while I am looking at EV, I am talking about all the 4 activities. Okay. So Adam is saying activities started earlier than the plan. Okay. EV % of actual work done. Okay. So both. Okay. And then Adam actually activity D, actual work. Okay. I would say, I mean, all of you are, I would say, pretty close to the answer. Initially, I said that we are trying to assess, just give me a second. Initially, I said that we are trying to assess the situation at the end of day 3. That's okay. So day 3, this is what the situation is. But here, if you look at activity number D, it was supposed to start on day 4, but we actually started on day 3 itself. So when I am assessing, when I am doing this assessment on day 3, my plan is still $3,000. Okay, but I also need to do, is there some work which I am able to do, I mean, which was supposed to be done in subsequent month, but I could do that before. So activity D, I was supposed to start on day 4, but I actually started on day 3. That means I am moving ahead against the plan. We are more productive. Okay, somebody is raising the hand. Who is it? Okay, yes, Adam, tell me what is your question. Yes, Adam. Adam, you can type your question in the chat window. Adam, are you there? I think you have self-muted yourself. Okay. Okay, let me see a message here. Okay. Adam, okay. No question. And Subodh is saying, okay, before that, actual work and Subodh, so EV greater than PV. So Subodh, as I said, that EV cannot be at any given point in time, supposing in this particular case, at day 3, at the end of day 3, EV can be greater than PV. It is greater than PV, but at the end of the project, it cannot be more than PV. Okay, so at this time, at this periodic assessment, on day 3, EV is more than PV. But at the end of the project, we would have exhausted all the planned work. Okay. So at the end, Subodh is saying EV should be equal to PV. You are absolutely right. Okay, and okay, no question. Now, based on this, we will be calculating the different things. Okay. So the planned value is $3,000, and the event earned value is 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 500 plus $750. So once again, I'll go back to the previous slide. As you can see, 1,000, 1,000, okay, 500 and 750. Okay, and that comes to 3,250. Okay, remember one thing. When I'm saying EV here, I'm actually not talking about spent, which is 1,000 in first case, 900 in second case, 1,000 in third case, 300 in fourth case. I'm not talking about this. Spent is nothing but a cost here. So what I'm talking about the earned value. I'm not talking about the cost. That is the reason it is 1,000, 1,500 and 750. That comes to 3,250. So here at the end of day 3, we have actually completed 3,250 worth of work as compared to $3,000 worth of work. Okay, so we are doing pretty good. Okay, now let's talk about the actual cost. So actual cost, again I go back to the previous slide, spent 1,900, 1,300, 1,900, 1,300. So we ended up spending $200, okay, in order to complete the work. Okay. Now BAC. Now you will be able to understand. Now BAC, it is 4,000. It will always remain 4,000 unless I have a new EAC. Unless BAC is different. If EAC, as long as EAC is equal to BAC, the budget won't change. The moment EAC changes, you will have a new budget. Okay, remember this thing. Now when I talk about cost variance, now the actual thing starts here. Okay. Now when I say cost variance, remember one thing, when I'm talking about cost variance or I'm talking about schedule variance, I will subtract something from earned value. So for cost variance, I will have earned value minus actual cost. This is basically a way to remember this formula. When I'm saying cost variance, I will subtract something from EV. So for cost variance, it is earned value minus actual cost. For schedule variance, it would be earned value minus planned value. So if you look at the cost variance is earned value. What is my earned value? 3,250 minus my cost. My cost is 3,200. And what it gives me? It gives me $50. So we are under budget by $50. Okay. Another thing you need to remember. Your cost variance or your schedule variance, if it is in positive, we are good. The moment it becomes negative, there is a problem. This always remember this thing. Once again, I am repeating. Your cost variance or your schedule variance, as long as it is positive, we are in a good situation. The moment it becomes negative, then we are in a problem. So it is giving me a positive number. That means we are under budget by 50. We are under budget by $50. Means we were able to spend, X amount, but we actually spent X minus 50, right? Anybody has any question? And also you can also look at that why, because once again, when I'm saying 3250 minus 3200, if you look at the earned value at the end of day 3, we should have done $3,000 worth of work, but we ended up doing 3,250 worth of work. That means we are going ahead. Okay, we are progressing, very well. Okay, and in order to do this work, which is having 3,250 dollar worth of work, we had to spend $3,200. We spent less money, and that is the reason we are under budget. We are doing very good on the cost on the cost front. Okay. Okay. Now somebody is asking. Let me see. Okay. Yes, Adam, you are right. In a lump sum contract. Okay. Now, when you say lump sum contract, I'm assuming that you are talking about fixed budget project wherein the client has agreed to pay X amount of money, irrespective of the fact whether you spend X plus 10 or X minus 10. They have agreed to pay a certain amount of money, which is also called as lump sum, and it is also called as fixed price. You are absolutely right. In a lump sum engagement, EV is always same as EC at any given point of time. It should be same. But as a vendor, maybe I'm spending more, maybe I'm spending less. If I'm spending more, I'm making losses. If I'm spending less, I'm making more profit. Client is nowhere concerned about this. Client is saying that I will pay you $100. He is not bothered about whether I'm spending $150 or I'm spending $90. Okay, so what you are saying is absolutely right. But in a real practical situation, it may be a hypothetical situation because we are never right on dot. Sometimes there would be a difference here and there. Okay. Saying, Adam, you are absolutely right. Earned value management, it actually doesn't work for fixed price contract, because fixed price contract is basically more on the milestone based. In order to, while you reach at a particular milestone, you get certain amount of money from the client, and not just the money, you also get performance based incentive also. I mean, I can have this earned value management as a vendor at my side for my own convenience, but fixed price contract earned value management is not much of significance. Did I answer your question, Adam? Okay, let's proceed further. So we are cost variance. Now you look at cost performance index. While you say CV, it is EV minus something, and that something is AC. While you say CPI, it is EV divided by something, and that something is AC. So in CV, multiplication. In CPI, it is division. Okay, there it is EV minus AC. Here it is EV divided by AC. What we are trying to say by CPI, we are trying to figure out every penny, every single dollar is spent by the client. Is he getting more $1, or is he getting 95 cents, or is he getting $1.50? So what we are saying here, we are getting about, now here, let me first look at the formula. Now CPI is earned value is 3250 divided by 3200, which is nothing but my actual cost, and it is giving me a result 1.010. 0.016. While we are talking about CV and SP, I said anything positive is good, anything negative is bad. When I am talking about CPI or I am talking about SPI, anything more than 1 is good, anything less than 1 is bad. So what we are saying here, we are saying that for every dollar paid by the customer, he is getting more. He is getting 0.02 more. That is the meaning of CPI, okay, right? So for CPI, we are saying earned value divided by actual cost. Schedule variance, that is your earned value minus planned value. Since we are calculating at the end of day 3, you can see, okay, let me first go back to the previous slide. I'm saying EV is 3250. So my earned value is 3250. You can see the second line. EV is 3250, and here I'm saying 3250, and my planned value is 3000. Okay, so you remember one thing. I'm saying 3250 minus 3000. I'm not saying 3250 minus 4000 because we are evaluating the situation at the end of day 3. Okay, and it is giving me 250. That means we are ahead of schedule. Okay, so while I was calculating the cost variance, what I said we are under budget. And you look at the last one, we are saying we are under budget. Okay, we are under budget by 50. That means we are spending less money and giving more to the customer. Or you can also say that we are making, more profit. While you are looking at schedule variance, what we are saying, we are ahead of schedule. We should have done something by say 10th of October, but we were able to do that by maybe 8th of October. One thing you will realize, and that important thing is that when I say schedule variance, when I say we are ahead of schedule, we are still talking in terms of currency only. I mean, technically speaking, it is actually not the right way of saying. When I say schedule, I should be talking like in terms of dates or calendar. Okay, but this is how the EV works. We are always talking in terms of in terms of money. But why we talk in terms of money, there is also a reason, and that reason is that just imagine a situation here that there are 2 days. Okay, we have to do a certain task, and we have 2 days to complete that task, and I have 2 resources to complete that task. Okay, and supposing to make it very very simple, the cost of one resource is $1. So for 1 day, I would be spending $2, and for the second day, again I would be spending $2. That means my budget is to spend $4. Now what happens on the second day itself? Both the resources, they were able to complete the work. That means they were able to complete the work in $3 because they completed the work on the second day. You assuming that you have 8 hours, so they were able to do the work in 4 hours. That means I spent $4 worth of work. Okay, that is how this interpretation, that is how it is interpreted while we are talking about the schedule variance. We can also talk about in terms of the days, but then here everything is converted into money. Okay, while we are looking at the SPI, as I said that while we are talking about CPI or SPI, we are dividing something by EV. So in CPI, we said EV divided by AC. In SPI, I will say EV divided by PV. My earned value is 3250. It is divided by 3000. Okay, 3000 is nothing but your planned value. And once again, I am telling you, we are doing this assessment at the end of day 3. That is the reason it is 3000. It is not 4000. What we are getting is 1.083. If you look at the interpretation here, we are saying we are progressing at about 108% of rate plan, we should be progressing at 100%, but we are progressing at a much faster rate. We could be progressing at 90% also. Okay, that scenario is also possible. In this particular scenario, we are progressing at a better rate. Now, just look at this very important thing called as EAC. And as I said, just give me 1 second. So, as I said, as long as your BSC and your EAC, an ideal scenario, it should be equal. But the moment there is a difference, the difference could be positive and the difference could be negative. As long as the difference is negative, means say the budget is say 4,000 and BSC is 4,000 and the EAC is 3,000. That means we are able to save good amount of money. When my BSC is 4,000, my EAC is 5,000. That means the budget has changed. We need more money. So while you are looking at EAC, to calculate EAC, the formula is BAC divided by CPI. So my budget, it is 4,000. Just look at this. Here I am not saying 3,000. My total budget is still 4,000, though I am doing this assessment at the end of third day. But my budget at the end of day 3 is still 4,000 only, and that is the reason we are saying 4,000 divided by CPI, and my CPI is 1.016. 1.016 means we are getting about 1.02 out of every dollar we put into the project. That means we are utilizing our money in a better way. So we would be able to save money at the end of the project. So 4,000 divided by 1.016, it gives me $3,937. That means my budget has changed, but in our favor. But we are making more profit here. Had it been the case where my CPI, supposing if it was say 0.86, in that case it would have been more than $4,000. But in this particular case, since my CPI, we are doing very good on CPI, my budget has actually gone down. You know, initially what we had planned or what we had committed to the customer. So we are making good money out of this engagement. So CPI is a very important parameter, and if we are not using our money in a good way, we would see a situation wherein we would be making less amount of money because our initial budget will change. Instead of 4,000, it will go maybe 4,500. Anybody has any question? Because I would be done in the coming 5-10 minutes. So if you want to ask anything, you have that opportunity now. I mean, you can ask me later also. Okay. Okay, so where am I saying no question? So shall I assume the same thing from everybody? I can see there are 11 participants, and okay, I assume that except for few, nobody has any question. Okay. Now let's see one very interesting thing called ETC. Okay, just imagine a situation where your senior manager comes to you and he says that, well, Sanjeev, I mean, I have seen a lot of escalations in your project, and every day or every week you come to me and you are asking for more resources. So one thing is pretty clear that you won't be able to complete this project within the original budget. This thing is pretty sure. Okay. And this conversation between me and my senior manager is, say, right in the middle of the project. Now he needs a number that Sanjeev, this point onwards, how much more you will need. Accordingly, I will plan. Once again, I am repeating. Right in the middle of the project, where the project is not progressing well, or the project is progressing well. Let's assume the project is not progressing well. The senior management, they want to know how much more I would need this point onwards. That is called as ETC, estimate to complete. Okay. Here what we do, we are saying BAC minus AC. So my budget, you know, I'm writing here 3937. Any one of you, why it is not 4,000? Why it is 3937? Anybody? Yes, I need a quick response. Why I have 3937? Why not 4,000? Aaron, Subodh, Dilip. Okay. The moment EAC, if it is different from BAC, EAC becomes the BAC now. The budget will change. So here, while we're looking at EAC, wherein we said 4,000 divided by 1.016, it is giving me 3937. Now my plan, my baseline figure for the budget is 3937. That is the reason, you know, we have 3937 minus 3,200, which is nothing but your actual cost. Okay, and it is 737. We need to spend 737 to finish the project. But remember one thing, that your ETC, it is calculating, it could be in the middle also, it could be ahead also. It is from that point onwards. Remember this thing. Okay, from that point onwards, okay, that is what we would be, dealing. Okay, it could have the positive number also, it could have the negative number also. And the last is VAC. I'm saying variance at completion. Now here I'm saying BAC minus EAC. What was my original budget and what is my current budget? We say BAC minus EAC, that is giving me $63. We currently expect to be 63 under budget when the project is completed. Okay. This is a very important data, and it actually helps me in forecasting the future, and giving the appropriate data to the management, and as a project manager or as a program manager, I can also take some preventive or the corrective action and make things better. Well, maybe not possible in all the scenario, but yes, if there is a possibility to salvage the damage, not completely, but up to a reasonable extent, then why not? Okay. Once again, all this mathematics, it is not done at the end. It is throughout the project. Then only we would be able to salvage, the damage and take preventive or corrective action. And that brings to the closure of this session. And I would request everybody, if you need any clarification, if you have any doubt on any topic, you can ask me now, and I would be more than happy to resolve or answer your queries. Okay. So, Raj, are you there? Raj, Kritika?
Yeah, Sanjeev.
Unmuted.
Yeah, Kritika, I am done. Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Sanjeev. So guys, we can close the session now. In case you have any query, please feel free to reach us at info@wizlabs.com, or you can also call us on our customer care number published on our website. And thank you. Thank you again. Thank you for joining this session, and we are ending this session now.